Live from Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. This is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, educational, keenly awaited, daily created, highly anticipated edition of the Afternoon Swing Trading Floor with your humble host, Jeremy Alexander Newsom, with another daily dose of mentally delicious brain food, reminding you to love life and trade it. What's going on, folks? From around the world, hope you're doing tremendously, deliciously well on this Tech Giant Tuesday. So many things to talk about. Whoa. Let me add some of these stocks that Ben was posting. CWH, CARG Guru, CURE. Obviously going to look at Netflix today. Raj says going to look at Lowe's. Sure. Brad posted. Got it. And Lowe's as well. I think you should all be able to see my screen, hear my voice okay. Recording is turned on. My boy Simon's in the building. Francois. Tony says, good afternoon. What's up, young blood? Okay, cool. So we're just going to dive into the SPY. The market knows that I'm back, apparently. The market knows I'm back. Up 2.1%. Strong gap today. Strong gaps. Again, I was pretty bullish yesterday. I mentioned that we'd likely gap down and then trade higher. And I mentioned if we did gap up, it would probably be a pretty decent bullish gap. I'm still expecting some sort of retest at some degree. But again, from here, we'll probably go a little bit higher, maybe into the 100, maybe a little bit higher than that before we do have like that big double bottom type of pullback. But good volume. Good gap, and the miss of the day goes to Yates in Denver, Colorado. Oh, sorry, Yates. So Yates was looking at taking a trade, true story, right here and also right here on SPY, and missed this one by 2 pennies. The low was 276.07. He had an entry at 276.05. So I missed the exact low of the day by SPY by 2 cents, which is tough. But this morning in the day trading room, I did record the whole day. And I was kind of mentioning to some traders that if you're looking at playing it, get in where some people are going to be having their stops. This was the second trade right here was the time I was like, hey, if you're going to be buying, this is where I would be buying. You had the breakout above the high of the day, right? It came down and stopped some people out kind of quickly if you had your stops too tight, and then it just bounced and ran all day. Beautiful bullish gap. And again, the good news is it's going to provide us with tons of swing trade opportunities. We'll just have to kind of find them. Falco had some put sales. Obviously, those should expire worthless just fine. And, yeah, we're back. What an amazing day it was. So that's really the SPY. And the Qs equally as amazing, up almost 3%. And you're up again because of the Netflix gap. So tomorrow, most likely, gaps up and fades down. We certainly could run tomorrow. I'm totally fine with that happening, but we probably gap up and fade down tomorrow. It was a really, really wonderful gap on the Qs. So remember, if I'm trading, one of my favorite gaps to play is when it gaps above the previous high or low of the day. High was 174.04, and we opened at 174.02. So just kind of 2 pennies away from a really perfect gap. But, yeah, it was a nice move on the Qs. And, again, the perma bulls getting rewarded from the dip buying opportunities that came in, honestly, on Friday. When it gapped up on Friday, you had to be buying Friday and some yesterday. And then it's just, again, a really good gap. I was talking to a lot of traders yesterday in Slack, and they're mentioning, should be buying calls. And I was like, yep, calls would be the way to go. IWM up 3%. And then, of course, the Dow Jones ETF also had a really nice gap. So could we pull back? Absolutely. Will we pull back? Most likely. This is a good bullish gap and go, but realistically, it was just bullish all the way turned up. So that was just non-stop bullishness. So if we get a little bit of a pullback, it could be tomorrow, the next day, buy the dip, I think, is unmistakable. Buy the salsa, get you some queso and some guac because you're so extra. And yeah, I like the gap up on the Dow. That's pretty much my thoughts. Questions, concerns, thoughts on the broader markets, ladies and gentlemen. Charles says, good afternoon, all. What's up, buddy? Charles is about to come down to Nashville, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a blissfully beautiful time. All right. So there's the Dow. There's the broader markets, and here we go. There's going to be tons of stuff to look at. AMT, shoot, is already up 3% post-market. Dang it. So AMT, this was a great gap this morning, and I was looking to play this. I guess I'm going to have to write this down tomorrow. Vince's random ticker bullish by the dip. Kind of, pretty much. I'm going to put this one on the list for tomorrow morning. This one was going to be the weekly options newsletter, and it still could be just buy the dip because it's going to gap up and fade, but that one really could just run without us. So AMAT, the reason I was even pulling up AMAT is because of the gap today. Pulled it up on the the bullish gap up list. You got that doji yesterday, gapped up right above the high. So remember, nice small gap. They don't have to be massive in order to trap a lot of people. Nice. And yes. So anyway, AMAT, that was a good gap. Nice level. They don't have to be large. It's just all about how many people are trapped. Because again, you can see how many bearish moves happened over the last few days. And then just yesterday, even though you did get a doji, you did make a lower low and lower high. So with that gap up today, yeah, it's just a great gap, really good trapping gap. There's the 5-minute chart and beautiful S curve. Very good pullback and just a nice little grind higher. So anyway, Applied Materials gapping up. It's going to be on the list for tomorrow morning. I will be day trading tomorrow morning. I'll be in the room pretty much all day the rest of the week. So if you missed me in the morning room over the last 2 weeks, you're going to get all of me all week long. So anyway, that's AMAT. It's on the list. I'll probably pass on it for a weekly options newsletter trade. And it's already gapping up. Western Digital, ticker symbol WDC. So Western Digital, also cute little small gap. And this one has earnings not too far away. So that's going to be the challenge on some of these gaps, is just the fact that earnings is going to be around the corner. And you want to make sure that you get those in at the appropriate time. I mean, you're more than welcome to hold over earnings, of course. You just have to know the risks. So this is October 25th is earnings. And again, we're gapping up very small, 56.27. The high of yesterday was 56.24. That's also a good gap. I mean, that's one you're going to want to put on the list for tomorrow morning as well, if it opens right there. Now, it could just slam its head into the 20, but what is the big takeaway on Western Digital is, here's the support. You'll remember open of large, long day bullish candles act as a good support, and we bounced and we traded back down to that support, and now we're getting a little bit of a double bottom on the hourly. So yeah, WDC might make that a weekly options newsletter trade because it is gapping up, but not that much. And I would pretty much just look to buy a dip that would have to trigger tomorrow. So if we gap up, I'd probably try to buy the dip around 55.44 sometime tomorrow and just be in and out before earnings of next week. So it'll be a very fast trade. Long term on Western Digital, the weekly chart has what I think is a pretty good support. And I'm not saying this is going to happen, but what I can do is actually show you all that looks like this could be a wave 4 and then a wave 5. So that's certainly possible, but this structure, depending on how you draw it, looks almost identical to the intraday pattern of Twilio today. So this would be the 1, this is the 2, it's definitely a 3. Yeah, so this would probably be a 4. 5, and then maybe bounce. Yeah, I'll just keep waiting on that one. As far as a long-term trade is concerned, here's your long-term moving averages, and obviously once it broke that 200, that was it. And that's the one that we did take bearish with some option trades. And here's the monthly chart. So the monthly chart, you got a support resistance like around 43 and some change. But I mean, it's been getting pretty beat up. So look for a little bit of a wave 4 to come in. Wave 4s can be nice, right? You can trade all the way back up to $60, $70 and some change, and can kind of create a channel. Just depends on the timing. So we'll see, and I'll put that on the list and start watching it. But again, tomorrow morning could be a good opportunity to snag some quick gains. Have a lot of traders in Microsoft. Dwayne was posting in Microsoft, and Ash was posting in Microsoft about Microsoft as well. So Ash got herself into a collar over earnings. So she has a 115 covered call for December, a 106 protective put for next week. Her cost basis on the shares is 101. So that's a really good position to be in. And I look for Microsoft, if it continues higher tomorrow, great. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but the high of the October 10th candle is 111.50. So especially if we gap above that tomorrow, I don't see why it wouldn't just kind of continue higher and most likely make a new high. And then by the time it makes a new high, at some point you'll have earnings, and we'll see what happens on earnings. But if it can do this, you might get a chance to have your covered call expire worthless, Ash, at 115 for December. But if you don't mind getting called away there as well, that could also be one you just leave alone for a while. Because once we make a new high, 120, we probably will pull back on Microsoft a little bit. But it looks pretty. I like the trend, and if you're in it, stay in it. BABA had a good bullish gap up today, and it is gapping up again post-market to 150.65. So BABA posting a really nice retest gap. So here's the retest gap right here. White candle gapping up on Friday. Here's your 2 retests, and this was the bullish gap and go today. So BABA has all the room in the world to continue higher. So it's gapping up to 150.65. That's going to be a nice gap tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of good gaps to watch. I'll try to find something that is playing a little different than the broader markets. Let me go look at and remind myself where the 100 on a weekly chart is. It's at 155.96. Okay. So we most likely, almost without question, will fill this gap right here, this retest gap. So we're going to retest that retest gap, and we could trade all the way up to 155.96. And then, of course, as I mentioned previously, the question is on BABA, what will happen there? And will we have one more rollover and a double bottom? That part I just don't know, unfortunately. The answer is probably. Now, the S-Curve Part 2 video is coming out soon because that has already become many traders' favorite video of all time. I liked it as well, but I didn't think it was the best. So I need to make a part 2 because it was good, but I could have talked about that pattern for another 4 hours because there's so much that goes into the pattern. For example, this move right here, how will we know if it's going to roll over? And there will be a time where it will form this and it will pull back. And what if it S-curves like this? What will those candles look like, and will people be trapped, and really extrapolating your overall senses for what should occur? Very similar to this right here. See, boom, 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 and then bam. That move right there is the double bottom. But how did you know that it's going to double bottom? And did you have the ability to play that roll over and then get in bullish at the low? There's just so much that goes into that pattern. But if you can get an idea of and see why it would occur and where it would occur, and you have a general idea, then at least you know where it should happen at. So for example, on BABA, if it does trade into here and it does pull down, and then it forms what I would call the location, right? Where it either bounces or rolls lower and then forms a bigger S-curve and a bigger double bottom. That's the part where no one knows. But if you at least have a general idea of where it should occur at, then you're going to have a really good idea of how to extrapolate that data going forward. So anyway, this is a retest gap. Robert Falco does have a 150 put sale expiring Friday. Matt has one at 155, way out there. Masashi says, would it be too late to trade after I confirm bullish divergence on the stochastics on the daily? No. I mean, if you go to stochastics, usually the stochastics are a slow indication anyway. I don't see bullish divergence on the stochastics, at least on this particular move, because they made similar lows. So that one and that one, they made the, so it didn't really make, it actually technically made a lower low. So I wouldn't technically call that a divergence. The MACD, here's the MACD, and this is really your divergence indicator. And there's also no divergence on BABA on the MACD because it made a lower low, and on MACD it made a lower low. So that's still natural. So that's usually what's going to help me kind of get an idea that it probably will have one more rotation. And then maybe that rotation causes some type of divergence. That's why I think we probably will get some double bottoms. If we go to a weekly chart, obviously there's no divergence on a weekly. On the MACD and then RSI, is there divergence? Nope, none there either. So yeah, your goal as a trader is really just to try to play the gap and play the sentiment because, again, I know this is all hindsight. I wasn't really here for any of this. But right here was a very easy exit and a very easy long on BABA. If you were in bearish, that was the place to exit. So because you had the S-curve, right? Here's the breakdown. And this wave structure here and this wave structure here are almost identical in length. They're almost the exact same pattern. So if you can see that it traded like this, rotate over, and then S-curved, and then trade down, rotate over, and then S-curved, almost the exact same length, then you get bearish candle. What time is it? 4:18. I'm going to go long today. So here's the support. And you got this support right there. This is when it should have bounced. So that is the natural S-curve of a double bottom. So boom, boom, boom. And you got that lower shadow and everything. So people were buying. You knew that was the location. That's where it should have bounced. If it was going to double bottom, that's the natural double bottom curvature. And then the fact that it gapped down the next day, and it was a retest gap, and it got down the next day, that was the break. Now, of course, could you say, what if Newsom that was a trap and then it bounces higher? That is certainly possible. But you won't know that unless you get in. Right? You won't know that unless you get into the trade, because at that point, if you are getting in on the pullback on that day or the next day, then you're going with the trend, you're going with the moving averages. And if it is a trap, right? So let's say you do get in bearish here and then it just pops and runs, and you get stopped out and then you get in bullish. So you try to flip it and then you get in bullish based on whatever the gap says. So if you didn't get in here, then the very next day it gapped down and opened below the low of that white candle. You know it's not bullish at that point. So you're getting in bearish on one of these 2 days on BABA. Then you have a very nice move down. And then you have the bottom of a completed S-curve. Right? Nice extension. If you do a fib, it's going to be like a 1 or 1.382. Let me do a quick fib extension just based on, it's probably gonna be a 1382. So yeah, so it trades down, breaks the 1382 and gaps down. So you have this black candle gapping down after you get a really good S curve, nice little trend, black candle gapping down. Everyone starts buying the cover, buying the close, locking in profits. And then you get the retest gap, white candle gapping up, and then you get the 2 days of a retest, and then you get today. So yeah, yesterday that would have been a really good spot to start picking up some longs on BABA. This wager at 132.67, I'm on the it won't hit that price before that day side, which I'm probably going to lose on at this point, unless this is the low of BABA, which I actually don't think it will be. I know that sounds crazy, but this gap right here, I can almost assure you, if we do roll over, we're going to roll over right into the bottom of that gap and then bounce. And that'll be the bottom. So I don't think it fills the gap all the way. I think it just barely flicks into the gap and then bounce. That's my worst case scenario as drawn on BABA right now. That's my worst case. So, yep. That's what I got. Gaps a lot, pretty frequently. So Falco, hope it plays out for you okay. And my boy, got a trader saying if you change to a line chart, you can see the S curve. And there's a line chart right there. Yes, Sereno. Very pretty. All right, so that's BABA. IQ, I was so close to closing this today. So close. Didn't happen, and now I'm trapped. IQ, also a really good potential for tomorrow morning. So IQ, I did this back on 9/17. I'm going to lose an R on Friday. Well, I might just exit tomorrow morning and open for 0.7 Rs or 0.9 R loss. So you had a white candle gapping up. It was retesting. When I looked at it, it was right here, and I could have exited for 0.5 R loss, which really isn't bad. The fact that this thing retested, had a black candle today, and is gapping up above this, again, you still have that downward trend line, and lockup is over. Everyone in the world expected lockup to just get, this stock to get wrecked on lockup. And this low, this candle right here, was a good trap on IQ. Some people went bearish below that pink line. I almost did. If I was here, I probably would have gone bearish on a retest or something. And now we're gapping up. So I'm trapped because I'm in puts. This is a good gap, phenomenal gap tomorrow to start watching. Also, a potential weekly options newsletter if I can get it set up correctly. That's really it on IQ. Be watchful for that gap tomorrow, and the 100 simple that's your target, $30.19. I think that trend line's over. So obviously, is it going to gap up that way tomorrow? I don't know, but maybe. I could have exited those puts on October 11th, but again, I was out. I was holding them as an absolute zero anyway. Going to lose on the trade, not a big deal. It's just an R. I'm totally comfortable with that. I'm fine with it. This is fine. This is okay. On the 11th, I could have gotten out for, truly 0.2 2/4 of an R, something like that. So anyway, that's IQ. Nice gap today. Here's BILI, BILI. And BILI, I was watching this one. I talked about it yesterday. Yates has a purchase right around 1290, which is that red line. I'm going to keep watching BILI and just see how it interacts with this resistance right here. I'm going to watch and see how it interacts with that 1415 resistance. One of the things I like the most about this stock, and if you ever want to know one of my no-brainer entries is when a stock takes out its IPO low and then immediately the next day reverses. How many people do you think shorted that day? Tons of people went short right there. Tons. So many. Because again, look at that. You had a white candle the previous day and it gapped down, so you know everyone thought that thing was going to go to zero. And then it rallied at the end of the day, and then they just got boned. And then it gapped up, white candle gapped up, retest gap, and then it retested the very next day, and that was it. That was a really solid reversal signal. Because again, you can look at this chart and see that everyone's trapped. Just barely broke that IPO low, hammer candled, Chris Hemsworth, and then you're off the races. That means you could have bought shares there, put sales, maybe something else. You wouldn't have been up a lot. Obviously, it's a little choppy, but you could have played it depending on how you approached it. So I like this one. I like this chart. And as far as Chinese internet stocks, it's holding up relatively well. So I'm going to keep watching this and see if I can get another entry on it at a particular low, especially if it drops just enough to stop people out, maybe here at 1193 or something, drops down a little bit and gives some type of another hammer candle pattern off of 1169 would be cool. So I'm watching it. It's gapping up very small post-market. And if we do close above this resistance, then I'll look to buy some type of pullback. If it stops out Yates, that's when I know, that's when I'll get in. Here's FireEye. And FireEye, I missed it. I hope someone else got it today. I was talking about re-getting in on FireEye based on really just the overall movement yesterday. And it has kind of run without me a little bit. So FireEye is strong because it is already above the highs of the sell-off. Those are the stocks that you really want to look for, are the ones above the high of the sell-off. So we are already above those highs on FireEye. And I like that. Granted, you do have 4 white candles in a row, and yes, earnings are around the corner. Here's the hourly chart, and if you can get a play on FireEye on a pullback, go for it. We probably won't, so that's going to be that. Here's the weekly. And I like 1901 as a target on FireEye. I think Bill, let me see if Bill's here. I think Bill has some shares, has been doing some covered calls. There's Bill. So Bill, if you want to update us on any covered call that you might have. Masashi says, knowing that the swing trade would be bullish, would you day trade it also? Yep. If you can look at a chart and go, man, that thing is really nice and bullish. I love that direction. I love that trend. Then you'd be looking, you can easily look for a day trade. The challenge on this one is just that it's already had 4 strong days in a row. So if we gap up tomorrow, I'd look for a retest and then a bounce. But absolutely, I mean, if you can look at a chart and go, man, I really like that bullish trend. It's very pretty. It's unquestionable bullish or bearish. And if you have that, then go day trade it. It's just all about finding the location and buying. Bill has a October 26th, 1850 covered call. All right. Bill B, 1026. All right, man. So there's FireEye. I won't do an official swing trade on it because most likely we're not going to be able to catch it in time. I'll see if I can try to catch some type of pullback, maybe for a day trade, as Masashi was saying, or another swing trade. But that one does look cute. CGC. We talked about this one yesterday, and obviously this gapped up today and did pretty much precisely what many people imagined it would do. So canopy growth white candle, gapping up, just like I talked about yesterday. Almost the exact candle I talked about and described what happened yesterday happened today. You had 3 huge white candles in a row. We gapped up to an all-time high, and we sold off. Tomorrow is the date for Canada, and I would say that this is probably the top of canopy growth for a little while. How long is a little while? I wish I knew for sure. But if you're looking at trading it bullish, just buy as low as you can and actively trade it on like a shorter time frame, 15-minute or hourly. So this is the hourly chart with the extended hours turned off, and it pulled into the 20. So yeah, I would try to get it down here at the 50 EMA on the hourly. So again, if you're trying to trade it bullish, just get it as cheap as you can, because this gap up today was a super obvious fade. Sashi says, only trade with the direction of the trend and not a fade. Is that what you would say? Correct. I did do a fade today as an official day trade. It's just simply that they are a little bit more advanced. It's easier to go with the trend and usually more profitable. Fades are excellent when you really get a solid understanding of candlestick patterns and just overall sentiment, which is, again, like canopy growth. I mean, this was just a super, super obvious pullback. If we can get a small doji tomorrow, I'll trade it higher. If we, oops, oh boy. Oh gosh. If CGC gets a small doji tomorrow, I might trade it higher. Like above the high of that doji or something. Otherwise, I'm just going to kind of give it a little bit of time. I will say that your boy Victor Gonzalez, who I'm working on hopefully interviewing tomorrow, he got a put sale down here, and that expires in November. So yeah, I like that put sale a lot. $35 for 50 cents. Hasn't been at 35 bucks since August 20th. And Corey Jones, I know you're looking at this one. You posted this one in Slack. I believe it was Canopy Growth. But yeah, just a big, giant, gnarly white candle, gapped up. Everyone took their profits. Big sell-off and retest today. And that's pretty much about it. Masashi says, usually buy the news and sell the facts. Cannabis stocks could go lower. I think so. I think so. That was a very, today and tomorrow, very much the news-based events. Kronos, pretty much the same thing. Huge gap up today, overnight move, just glorious fade. Happened almost immediately. 3-minute opened and just dive bombed. I got a dive bomb on you. So CRON, and if we did a wave count, it's some kind of wave 4, maybe. So this is a 1, 2. I could see a reason for a 3, 4, and we could get a 5. So I'm not saying that it's impossible to go higher. I'm just simply saying if you do try to buy it, I think it could go down a little bit more before it goes higher. And I'd really love to see, as I talked about yesterday, like a doji, something like that tomorrow. And then if we do that and then it pops again, just keep on running with it. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But I do want to update these 2 put sales. Bob Lafreni had a put sale that expired worthless on CRON. And Charles, ladies and gentlemen, his first put sale ever. First one ever, and done. Gone with the wind. So everyone's, you guys are all making money on CRON. Nice. Okay, next on the list is Dropbox, DBX. And Dropbox, I'm going to set up a limit buy on Dropbox to see if it can fill this gap tomorrow. So bullish limit buy, going to try for Dropbox again. and I'm gonna do it 24.17, which is like kind of just right in that gap, just in case it kind of flashes lower, and this one will be 23.17, so it's $1 risk. Got 4 white candles in a row. Today is a retest gap, and I'm actually just looking for like a quick flash lower and then a bounce. So something like this. Whoop. This was going to be my original target on another trade. Anyway, I know that the 20 is in the way, so the 50 would now be target to exit a quarter. Target, I'll just exit all. So this is the one we talked about yesterday, and again, you do have the 20 there. Why am I going bullish on Dropbox? It does look like it's a counter trend trade, and the answer is it is a counter trend trade. This looks like a bearish S curve, and you got the double bottom. So we do have a double bottom. Do have a wicked pair candle set right here, and you had a retest gap today. So realistically, I'm just looking for that retest gap to fill. It should trigger tomorrow, and if it doesn't, I'll probably cancel. Should trigger tomorrow. If not, I'll probably cancel. And that's really it. DBX swing trade. Posted some love since I've been gone for a while. You rock. Okay, so we're going to go long category. I don't know. That looks good. DBX. So DBX has kind of been our nemesis, but I really do love the fact that it did not trigger the last time because we would have gotten hosed. New official swing trade. Swing trade. So we got DocuSign, which we're going to look at next, and also Dropbox. Both of them today. Kind of similar trades, but not exactly. They have some similarities, 24.17 by 23.17. You can do shares. You can also do options on that. I think it's a good trade based on a retest gap open because it's not triggered yet, and we'll throw that in right to chop. Okay, where do I put this? Look at this tomorrow, DBX. And that's pretty much it. We'll see. I don't know if it triggers, and we'll come back and look at it tomorrow. The next one was DocuSign. So here's DOCU. And DocuSign, talked about this one yesterday. Very pretty setup. Talked about it was going to gap. And I let the fear of losing talk me out of this trade. This is where I should have entered right here on a pullback. I was talking about it yesterday. I looked at it most of the day. I guess looking back, spread was gnarly, but I could have put a stop down here, entry right here on a pullback, and I would have had a good fill on the spread, and it would have made 2 R's, and I was a giant chicken. Giant chicken. So DOCU, this is also a setup. There are a few traders that have some November put sales out there on DocuSign. That's what Najia is saying, is that, that you got some put sale premium out there for November, and it does have some premium. So a 35 put sale, you can get 1%, which is 35 cents. I don't know. It should have been one I took. I planned it yesterday. I told it what I wanted it to do. It did it. Everything looked good, and I just didn't pull it. Didn't pull the trigger. Will this fill tomorrow? I don't know. Probably not. It looks like the whole market is gapping up again tomorrow. It looks like the whole market is just gapping up again. The good news is both Blake Anderson and Robert Falco already have 35 put sale. And if that one does expire worthless, congrats for them. And if they end up buying it back, also congrats for them. That's DocuSign. Here's PayPal. PYPL. PayPal with the gap. Nice gap, earnings right around the corner. I don't really know what PayPal is going to do on earnings. I'm not entirely sure, obviously. As long as PayPal, I guess I could do it like this. As long as PayPal doesn't open below here, it should continue up. So this would be a red earnings box. We open below that price right there, which is like 73.91. We're going to be hurting. And if we gap up here, we probably trade down. We probably fade and then end up bouncing higher to some degree. I think we'll end up going higher. PayPal pre-earnings analysis. Not 100% sure what PayPal even might do on earnings. But if PayPal gaps down into the red box, that one will cause some selling. If PayPal gaps up on earnings, she likely fades and then eventually goes higher. I still think PayPal goes higher anyway. Okay, PYPL, and that is PayPal. A lot of people playing PayPal. Earnings are on the 18th, so they are right around the corner. Thursday, the 9th. The GS says it will go higher, most likely. I think so. I think it eventually goes higher. If it gaps up, probably people will lock in some profit, but I don't really know. We'll see. PayPal doing its thing. Square, ticker symbol SQ, with one of the gaps of the day today. Also gapping up again post-market. I'm really trying to find something that's not gapping up post-market. Congrats for anyone who sold some puts. This was a really wonderful gap that a lot of traders did play. I did not play it today, mostly because I already had some put sales, and I guess I just was comfortable with those gains alone. Yeah, this was an amazing gap. We literally talked about it yesterday. Inside candle, and it gapped above the high of that candle and above the high of this candle. Fantastic gap. John made some money on this one. Ron Demerit made some good money on this one. Your girl Angela made some money on this one. It's going to gap up again tomorrow and probably fade. So any option that I do on the weekly options newsletter, I'm going to try to do it nice and low, just like a limit buy on something crazy, like it gets put some shares on a dip that I might have to leave open for a while. So this one also could potentially be a weekly options newsletter, but a good entry on it would be around 76. If you're looking at buying shares or calls, more people sold puts than I can name. So congrats, and let's hope it continues higher. Nice bounce off the 100. Very nice inside candle. Great gap today. Tony says maybe a double bottom off the 100. Yep. Certainly is plausible. So gap up. You could run something like this, some kind of big double bottom. We'll probably double bottom out of this market. I don't think we just do this. certainly could happen. It just makes a little more sense to get something like this. So we'll see what trade we can find out there. That's square. Obviously, Netflix gapping on earnings did not gap down. It gapped up, mostly because they crushed everything again, as we knew they would. I say they knew they would. I mean, I thought they were going to crush earnings and then gap down. Dean exited for break even. His put sale at 300. And yeah, I mean, Netflix is gapping up to 387. This gap almost certainly will fade slowly but surely. So if I can create this, yeah, this gap most likely will gap up and fade tomorrow. So we'll gap up, eventually trade down, and I guess go higher. So Netflix, nice gap on earnings. Bullish retest gap, a large one. She probably fades down some over time, and eventually you get another shot to buy low. Congrats on those traders who either went long at the 200 SMA or did some kind of volatility sale. I will have, let me go say, I will have my Netflix subscription giveaway webinar next week. Hooray. So that was the wager that I made. Some of you might remember, I mentioned it was going to hit 300 before earnings. It got down to 310. So I wasn't insanely far away. And I know I was bearish on Netflix only because of how far it has moved. That's pretty much it. I mean, I love Netflix as a company. I'm a fan. They just came out with a new, like another new show. And yeah, all I got to say is it's a nice gap, good bounce off of 200. Congrats for anyone who's playing Netflix. And I do think it fades a little bit. Now, does it have to fade? No. Could it continue just to crush higher and squeeze a lot of people out of this? Yes. Is that going to happen? Maybe. I will be watching it tomorrow, and I'm ready for whatever. So that's on the list for tomorrow. Okay. Netflix is done. Apple, bounce off the 50 EMA like a pro. I know yesterday I was a little bit more wavering on the side of I would love it to trade down to 206 and some change. It probably might at some point, but I mean, it bounced off the 50 just so beautifully. Did it intraday, and now you have a new white soldier on Apple, and we're gapping up again on Apple to 223.19. So yeah, gapping up on Apple, decent looking move. I know there's tons of you who have shares long term, and if you do, just keep holding them. I don't really see any real reason not to be in shares long term on Apple. Earnings are in November, and I don't expect anything great. Linderman says that's almost a battalion of soldiers. Super close. Super close. Yep. Very nice candle pattern, though. And yeah, I expect Apple to slowly continue higher. Why not? Look at Visa. Holy smokes. What pullback. Already Visa making it back. Bullish gap and go on this day. Got a little bit of a retest, and then we're just back off to the races. I'm not in on Visa, but I still don't think that's all of the pullback that it has. But could it be? Totally. I mean, if we just crush higher like this, we will have some kind of retracement. I will not say go long at this high. I can guarantee you that. But yeah, it's a pretty quick, pretty sharp pullback into support and buy the dip, I guess, if you're playing Visas. I mean, everything is going to be kind of buy the dip. So your goal is to try to find something that's doing a pattern a little different than the broader markets. That's really your goal. Here's Walmarto, WMT, and Walmart. So I mentioned not too long ago, if it closed below here, it would be Chopzilla. And this is the definition of Chopzilla. It's been trading sideways for a while. You got some good volume that came in. Walmart would not be one I would be afraid of being in longer term right now. So if you're looking for a good little blue chip that is doing something different in the market, it would be Walmart. So Walmart just pulled down to the 50 EMA, no big deal. Here's the weekly moving averages, just pulled into the 10 on the weekly. So it's still going to be choppy. It's still going to take some time. We did close below that level, and yeah, it is definitely sideways. So if you're looking at playing Walmart, probably it's going to be best to just do a longer term, hold some shares, and wait type of approach right now. Estee Lauder, ticker symbol EL. Bullish gap up. Earnings not too far away. What's Estee Lauder doing other than just cranking out products? Look at this trend. Very interesting, Estee Lauder. There's all kinds of patterns that could be. All kinds. We'll just have to see how Estee Lauder holds up. I mean, this is a good gap. It's a gap and go. Most stocks were gap and goes today. And as wild as it sounds, I would not be afraid for a continuation higher. Wouldn't be scared of it. I'm not saying we're going to just absolutely go to a million tomorrow, Dow Jones a million, but we could do something like this where we get just a quick little move. So again, don't be afraid of the dip. This is the bounce. This is the salsa. It's happening before our eyes on most stocks. Disney, rampaging. Falco has a 118 covered call expiring Friday. It's going to be close, Falco. I do think it expires worthless, and then you'll be able to do like a 130 December. I think this is the retest on Disney. Q1 2019 target, 140.14. I'm calling it. I love this retest gap. There's the retest. Trend looks nice. I don't have any position in Disney, mostly because I can't be in everything. And I know a lot of you have some shares in Disney longer term. I think it's going to pop. It looks good. Trend looks good. On all time frames, looks good. This is one that I told Ashley's dad, who literally loves Disney more than he loves anything else in life. Still not in shares, though. Told him at 97. It's okay. One day. This is Disney on a monthly chart, by the way, and we never even hit the 50. This is with the adjusted dividends on. So if you adjust and account for dividends, she's about to start going even higher. It looks good across the board. I like it. Adobe, super strong right now. Adobe, the Adobester, pulling a gap and go of the ages. Opens above the high of October 10th candle. What a gap on Adobe. Really nice move. This is the one that we were looking at before market opened, and I did not play Adobe today there were some traders who did play it a little poorly, in my opinion. And this is a great one to go back and retest and practice because, again, this is the 3-minute chart. You have a very, very nice pre-market resistance. So if you got in here, chased it, because you want, even though it is a gap and go, you still want to buy it off of pre-market resistance and support. And if you don't buy it there, right, if you don't buy it off of pre-market resistance and support, you want to buy some type of S-curve or something. So Adobe, I mean, as far as technicals are concerned, perfect. Kind of flawless. Here's the EMAs, and it traded right into the 10, sorry, on the 5-minute chart, pulled right into the 10 EMA on the 5-minute like a boss, and just popped champion style. This purple line is what kept me out of Adobe. That's the 100 simple on a daily chart. And I just paid a little bit too much attention to that, even though it did probably keep me out of an okay trade. Could Adobe continue higher from here? Absolutely. That's a very, very strong gap. And I'd say at this point, as long as it doesn't close below this price in the next 2 weeks, as long as Adobe doesn't close below this price in the next 2 weeks, you'll get new all-time highs, no problem. So, nice bullish trends, buy the dip, be bullish. Sylvan says I was a big chicken on Adobe. Dude, me too. Large chicken. Public style rotisserie chicken. EA Sports. It's in the game. EA Sports breaking below the long-term moving averages, showing a little bit of weakness, actually. I can see why some people would be bullish on EA. I can see the candle patterns. Earnings are around the corner. I think this is a pennant pattern of some kind. On EA, I'm going to keep it on the list, and I'm actually looking to play an EA bearish. I'd like to have one bear out there. And since it just absolutely rampaged below that 100 simple moving average, and now you're kind of retesting. I know earnings are not super far away from the corner, but again, it's always good to have one bearish trade out there, even if you're super bullish on everything. Trend looks good. Moving averages look good. I'm looking for it to take out today's volume, today's bullish candle, and hopefully continue a little bit lower. This right here, by the way, if anybody wants to practice an S-curve failure, that is a failure of an S-curve right there. When you know it's a good short is when you get a great S-curve that should just do perfectly and it doesn't. When you get everything, it's just like, oh, this is phenomenal. Then, nope, let it break down. She says, Jeremy came back and my email notifications are blowing up. That's right, man. I'm back. I'm back. Get your inboxes ready. So much is happening. ACB, Aurora Cannabis, exactly what we talked about yesterday, gapped up to an all-time high and faded down. Next on the list is HEXO, HEXO. HEXO, did I type that in right? Probably did. Volume's a little bit light on that one. HEXO on the TSX is what it's supposed to be. Looks like another alternative harvesting medical marijuana stock. Yep, almost unquestionable. They all look like that. Unbelievable. So much money to be made in cannabis right now. And again, I think it's happened. A lot of it has occurred. So if you're looking at playing weed, just my only advice is try to buy it as cheap as you can. Don't take a breakout because most of the moves have already occurred. The news is coming out tomorrow. Everyone knows it. It's old. Old news. Bitcoin. BTCUSD. Getting a little bit of volume coming in. The 100 simple moving average is acting like a rock of a resistance. The weekly chart on Bitcoin is still holding up strong, and I'm still bullish long term. It's ready to do something. I don't think it just rallies out of here. That would be too easy. But it is Bitcoin. I have said that before to only been proven wrong. I said, I don't think Bitcoin does that. But it does. So long term, I'm still accumulating. I'm still buying. I still have some. I want more. That's really it. Beautiful triangle. Everyone can see it. So my thought is it probably breaks out of here, comes back down to here, and then bounces. That would be the most comical thing. I think that's probably what it does. So right just a little bit below the 200, right when everyone goes short, just to make sure all bulls and all bears are trapped, and then it rampages. But long term, you know, if you're under 30, there's no reason not to have some Bitcoin. And even if you're over 30, plenty of places to go access it. Just a long-term, kind of a higher pain threshold type of a play. CRON, talked about CRON already. Congrats for those who bought back some shares. I mentioned I was going to go a little bit long today. QTT, trying to double bottom. Looking like it's going to. So QTT is gapping up to 810 tomorrow, maybe. 775. Okay, try to do 775 with a stop at 7. It made a new high on volume. This is a new IPO play I'm trying. Yes, it's a little aggressive, I agree. 810, so a super small gap up tomorrow. I like it. 775 by 646. Let's just make it 645 for just even numbers. And I forget who published this one, but I do like it. It looks totally different than the market. New official swing trade. Okay. 10, 16, 2018, QTT. And looking at it at 775 by 645. Do shares or options, solely up to you. It's also based on a retest gap. It's open because it's not triggered yet. And we'll throw that into here. Obviously, if I get, I'm just going to go ahead and write this in here. If I get stopped out by 6 pennies on this one and it bounces, I'll get back in. Hashtag Tilray. Hashtag worst stop out of my career ever. That looks kind of similar. Anyway, QTT, there we go. I forget who posted that one, but I do like that setup. ZUO also looks kind of cute. Zuora. It's already gapping up pre-market, so I probably missed that one. We'll come back to that one tomorrow. ZUO. Sylvan says hashtag you'll make it back. Oh man, the worst stop out ever. Camping World. Camping World is trying. It is trying. You can notice that it made that new IPO low, which I love, back over here. And it has been really working on trying to break out. My biggest advice on this one would be if you're playing it, play it long term with some shares. Kind of nibble, put your small toe in. All the moving averages are bullish. It looks pretty. Candle looks great. Totally different than the market. Long-term moving averages, you close above the 100. We'll put it on our list for tomorrow. If you know how they make money, you like camping, you go buy their stuff a lot, this could be an opportunity to buy a little bit of a pullback. tomorrow. 22.41. If it pulls back into the 100, I will look at it because it is trying, and I'll try to do something like this. I just think that it's going to be a better longer term play. So maybe I'll do a put sale. I'll pull it up tomorrow. We will see. Sashi says, people like to play IPOs, I see. Oh, yeah. But, I mean, this has been an IPO. This has been out forever. But, yeah, man, I love playing IPOs because it's just the charts, it's just the candles, and it's just people's sentiment. You know? Car Gurus, really nice trade. Whoa! Hey-yo, I feel good. Guess who got a Car Gurus at the exact high? We did. Not bad. Not bad, team. Man, Car Gurus got rocked. Okay. So it is bounce worthy at this point. Let's put this on the list on Thursday. It's down a little bit post market right now, but I'm gonna start watching that one. We made some a good gain on Car Gurus, and some people made some good 2Rs. Put sale premium, serious. It's probably over earnings, but man, the $35 put sale is paying 70 cents. Woe town. All right, good to know. I'll look at that Thursday. CURE, CureCoin? Nope, this is the healthcare bull 3X. What a pullback into the 100 on the daily. Wow. CURE, healthcare ETF, nice pullback, great gap today. Buy the dip for sure. And Lowe's, LOW, a lot of people looking at Lowe's. This is one that Brad was setting up for a weekly options play. And good thing it didn't get triggered. Another nice little new white soldier today. The trade that I want to look at was Lyle. New swing trader looking at getting in bullish around 102 with a stop just under 100 and a target of 109 on the hourly. I like that play. I think Lowe's has a little bit farther to go. The 100's here. If I come back and look at the hourly, if it does not continue lower, Lyle, what you're going to be watching is this support resistance here, a breakout above it, really a breakout above these highs, which is about 107 and some change, and then a pullback. So breakout above those highs, and then pull back into there, and that will be your buy. So if it does break out and it doesn't roll over into your 102-ish support, then look to play something accordingly. Yates says, Car Gurus earnings are November 6th. Got it. Okay, well, we're going to look at that and Carvana on Thursday because I don't think I'll mind owning some shares of Car Guru after that crazy bull run that it had. It was at 56 days ago. So getting it at 35, I don't think it'll be that scary. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if I want to hold it all the way down here to 27, though. Oh, we'll see. All right, team. Tomorrow, Energy Wednesday. What stocks do you want to look at tomorrow? Went a little bit long today, but I haven't had anyone complain about that yet. TWLO, TXRH, First Solar, CGC, Dropbox, ZUO, Camping World, wide, BP, XLE, LNG, ETE, FedEx, Starbucks, iRobot, FND, NRG, Walmarto, Baidu, Waste Management. Sweet. Tony says, thanks, boss. Dude, thank you. Feels good to be back in the saddle, folks. Thanks so much for enriching lives with me. It's an honor and a privilege to have you each and every day. Thanks for bringing the energy, the jokes, the awesomeness, the greatness. You are fantastic. I'll see you later. Until next time. Love life, live life, trade it. Bye.